with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what is going on, Automotive Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you. I mean, seriously, thank you for taking the time to come join this amazing pre-NADA strategy. That's right, you heard me. We're talking about pre-NADA, the biggest, baddest Super Bowl of conferences coming up, guys. And boy, do I got a guest for you. I have been looking forward all week to talk to this individual, and I get to actually talk to him twice. You get that twice, not only here, but I get to talk to him at NADA as well. I have the one, the only, the oh so famous. He did not have to pay me to say that. I have Brian Pasch with me. Brian, how are you, sir?
It is great, Jason, to be on the podcast. And well, we're excited to help dealers prepare for NADA and really to make it worthwhile for them to take the time out of the office.
Okay, I got a quick question for you because I've been having a lot of these conversations with a lot of now. I say NADA, but I know a lot of people that say NADA. Is this like a tomato thing, or am I doing things wrong?
Yeah, it is. It is. I use both. I think depending on the context.
Or maybe you know what else I find? I think it depends where you are in the country.
Right.
Because I'm serious. I swear, most of the East Coast people I talk to, it's NADA. All right. Most of the West Coast people I talk to, it's NADA. Who knows?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter, right? Hey, Brian, real quick, before we get into our conversation, I love kicking off these podcasts with a little origin story. Because I'm just fundamentally fascinated myself, right? But hey, for the 5 people out there that don't know who you are, let's kick it off with a quick origin story of how in the world you got started in the automotive industry.
Yeah, for many people, it was an accident. And when I started my digital marketing agency, one person, that was me, in 2005, I did what many entrepreneurs do when they're starting a service business. They ask family and friends. So I went to lawyers and restaurants and doctors that I knew. And I also went to Circle BMW in Eatontown, New Jersey. And I was buying cars from there for about 10 years. Steve Rudkin, who was a general manager, was really fast friends. Tom DeFelice Sr., fast friends. And when I first started my agency, I went to them and said, look, you need SEO, you need microsites. And what I quickly found out is that dealers spend money every month on marketing. Other verticals, they may pause. So accidentally, we had great success at Circle BMW for a number of years. And then I said, well, look, let's go to the industry where people are always advertising, and very quickly grew my client base in automotive.
You know what? It doesn't surprise me. Once you get bit by the automotive bug, good luck getting this out of your system. That's right. I find people get into the business one of 3 ways. Like yourselves, they're kind of a fluke series of events that they fell into. I mean, heck, I actually know some CEOs of some large corporations right now that actually showed up for the wrong interview. And that's how they got started in the business. Or you're born into the business, or maybe like me, you got conned into the business. Either way, this is a great business to be into. And this is the Super Bowl. This is the Super Bowl events. There are huge and amazing educational workshops, of course, over several days. It is the expo hall is literally like sensory overload. I swear they find every Bigtron TV they can in the entire country and bring it into one single spot. It's stretched over the course of almost 2 miles. Let's get into the thick of it. What dealers out there watching and listening right now that maybe need to be doing in preparation for such an event. And by the way, how many NADAs is this for you? I'm just curious.
I have lost track. I would say that I probably started going in 2010.
Okay. So you're up there 15, 14, something like that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's awesome. Okay. Real quick. What should people do from a perspective of getting ready for this show? Did I lose you?
Yep. No, I'm here.
Okay. Make sure. So Brian, so thinking of, I'm a dealer, I'm getting ready for this show. What would you say is kind of maybe some first steps, or maybe one of the first things I need to do just in preparation for NADA?
Yeah, I think the first thing that dealers should do is reflect on their business based on their performance, their opportunities this past year, 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Good review. And then ask this question: where were there gaps? Gaps in people, process, technology? Where do we miss our objectives? I think you need to be very clear where you can improve. And based on the gaps, you should be setting up a list at NADA to meet with companies that can fill those gaps. That should be a basic framework, not just I'm going to go out the expo hall, I'm going to walk around. You will not get much accomplished. You should have a checklist that says gaps that need to be filled, prioritize them, and then find the vendors that can fill those gaps.
No, I like this. It's I think for everybody out there watching, listening, I think you taking a moment, just being super honest with yourself, like Brian's saying, reviewing kind of your 2025 from an operations perspective and identifying those gaps. And I love the fact that you hit on people, process, and technology because it really is those three things that kind of work together to fundamentally make just good operations. Hey, Brian, for you, I'm just kind of curious, out of the people, process, and technology, what with some of the dealers that you've spoken to in this last year, where have you seen some gaps that dealers are currently working on?
Well, I think this year we may see for the first time gaps in our phone process, in our lead handling process, be filled in a much greater way. At NADA, we're going to see a number of advanced voice platforms that are so much better than, say, where Brooke and Stella were a number of years ago, who are pioneers. That means phones get answered on the first ring. We also have tech that, is coming to market that are listening to phone calls. And if a salesperson makes a commitment for a test drive or makes a commitment for sending information out to the client, if it's not done in the CRM, some of these platforms will actually fill in the CRM, which I think is an amazing thought. And then process. And Jason, you've been talking about this, how we greet our customers, how we follow what maybe the company blueprint is for an ideal customer experience is really hard to monitor. Today, in scale, AI can review call tracks, conversations, presentations, and understand in real time what was missed to avoid, a lost sale, a lost opportunity. So I think dealers who have gaps in their in-store process or remote retail process, this will be the year where some technology partners will help them fill those gaps.
No, look, I love that you bring that up because you're absolutely right. I had the opportunity to visit about 367 dealerships this year, and Brian, I would love to tell you that I was fundamentally impressed with all of them, but I can't. And no, don't worry. The ones that are watching this won't get offended to that because they're not one of those dealerships. Hence the reason they watch the show. But what I will say is you nailed it on the head.
Right.
When you nailed it on the head, when you're talking about the opportunity in AI and how there are more practical uses of it when it comes to really diving deep into our processes, the way that we communicate with the customer before they show up to the dealership, both on phone and email and text, and the way that the conversation happens even at the dealership. I think there are some great opportunities for AI to help fill the gaps. And I wouldn't mind going down this rabbit hole with you if that's okay. Is there any other maybe AI opportunities that you've seen that can assist in operational gaps at the dealership right now?
Yeah. So, we know that companies like UVI with the drive through inspection process that's using AI to look at every photo, identify every ding, scratch, opportunity. That's been out for a while. I think that type of work is going to be getting better all the time. I really believe that this year we'll see AI being used to proactively correct crappy emails that salespeople were sending out. I think that if we can just direct people to more training this year on how to leverage AI in their practical work life, I think we can make a lot of progress in filling gaps in poor customer experience. But I use the word training, and that's like a bad word for dealers. But I'm just telling everyone here is that as hard as I invest my time in to stay up with everything, you have to pause sometimes and get your hands dirty and do some things yourself and really understand just how powerful AI frameworks could be for everyday work.
No, I'm with you on this. I'm actually kind of excited. Look, I'm excited. Sometimes I still get a little nervous, right? I'll tell you, and you guys, everybody out there watching and listening to the show, I've talked this bunch of times. If there's an AI vendor partner out there talking about replacing people, I have a tendency of just turning off and not wanting to listen to it. I think this technology has the greatest opportunity to empower our people, make them stronger, make them smarter, like you were talking, Brian, assisting them in things that maybe they just weren't that good at in the first place. And I think this is kind of a perfect segue into what we're talking about, is kind of coming up with an overall plan. All right. I'm coming to this show. I got to balance everything between education of workshops and the expo floor and parties. When it comes to a plan, do you have any suggestions and tips?
Yeah. So very quickly, I would say you got to block out the workshops that you want to go to that are very critical, and those should be like a gold standard. You don't miss them.
Mm-hmm.
The more you walk through the exhibit hall, the more you will be pulled and distracted and brought into conversations and seeing friends. So try to block out those workshops. Give yourself 15 minutes on either side of a workshop to get to your next appointment. Do not back to back, because some of these workshops can be a distance away.
That's true.
And then try to get your most important meetings done in the morning, only because a day in Vegas takes 5 days off your life. So by the afternoon, people are serving cocktails at the booze. It gets the pregame party starts probably 4 or 5 o'clock in the exhibit hall, and then starts through cocktail hour. So anything meaningful, like serious meaningful, do a breakfast meeting.
I like that.
And try to get the most important meetings done by 2 o'clock.
I'm so glad that you shared the breakfast hack, because it's one I've actually been doing for years, and I kind of forgot. Out of all the conversations I've had the last couple of weeks, I forgot about that one. But Brian, you're so right. It's like really kind of stack the importance in the morning. And honestly, I don't know about you, I'm an early riser. So, and look, there's a lot of vendors that are out there too. So like, if I got to meet with people, I'll meet with them at 6:30, 7 a.m. in the morning, because I get like 2 or 3 of those done before I even have to go to the show. So great tip. Everybody out there watching, listening, do that. Hey, real quick, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time, but I did want to talk a little bit about the future proofing of our business, because we talked a little bit about this before we started recording. And I think it's important for everybody out there watching, listening, who's coming to the show. Yes, you want to look and identify operational gaps and work towards the educational series and the vendor partners out there that can assist in this. But there is an element that this show has where you can really go and learn about what's new and what people are doing to future proof your business. Brian, I'm sure you've seen some great examples of this. What kind of advice would you give for a dealer that's thinking about the future of their business, not necessarily just the single moment of this year?
Yeah, I would identify gaps in your business or chunks of your day that are being, well, let's just say, occupied by redundant, mindless tasks,
Mm-hmm.
because those are the things that AI will be great at replacing. It's the worst part of your job, doing mundane tasks. So, for example, the old days, managers would have to listen to 20, 30 phone calls and get sick to their stomach.
Oh, yeah.
Today, AI takes all the transcripts, summarize them, and directs the emergency, remedies that need to be taken. That's one example. I'll give you another one that I'm working on. I'm working on my first new product in over 10 years,
That's
but
exciting.
dealers hire me to look at their analytics. I have my own scorecard system, but it takes a half hour or so for me for every website. Today, with AI and the workflows, I can press a button and deliver the most value and true insights in about 1 minute. And so
Mhm.
when I look at how do I future proof my business? For me, I'm saying is I have to eliminate the mindless, mind numbing tasks that prevent me from getting new business, prevent me from being excited, prevent me from spending more time with my family. Dealers need to understand that we're in a unique opportunity, that the things that slow their business down,
Mhm.
distract their business, or frustrate their employees, I'd make a list of all those things. I'd be going to NADA looking for solutions. I know that a marketing manager with 30 or 40 stores cannot keep up with all the tools that are on their website, whether they're sending events or not, whether their campaigns are performing. No matter what people say, it's impossible to do it. Now, AI tools with the right, mentoring can resolve those frustrating, gaps or those manual processes.
Sure.
That's how we future proof our business, to allow people to do what they're best at. As you said, Jason, it's not that AI is replacing Brian, but I want to give more of me and my creative side to my
Exactly.
clients. And that's how I'm thinking about it.
No, no, no. Look, I think that's a really great way to look at it, and I've great advice for dealers out there that are coming to NADA next week. It is to take a look at it. I mean, think about this. This is AI insights that can automate action. And that is huge, right? I mean, don't
Yes.
get me wrong. I've sit in the chair. I was a dealer principal, all right. I got reports and dashboards, and I got insights everywhere. But I had to go push buttons. I had to seek for this stuff to be, I'm with you 100%, to be able to use AI to compile 30, 40, 50 pages of insights, but not only do that, but then to create actionable items, and in some cases automate those actionable items. Now that is seriously future proofing your business, and it feels
That's
like,
right.
honestly, Brian, it feels like an entire podcast on its own. And we may just have to do that at some point because I like that topic, man. That is a good one. Hey, look, Brian, I know we're getting towards the or we are at the tail end of our conversation. Before I let you go, though, because I don't think we've covered everything we possibly could, for anybody out there watching and listening who would love to connect with you, learn more about what you're doing, or come by and say hi to you at some point, what's the best way to do so?
Yeah. Great. Best way to reach out is at paschgroup.com. And a great introduction we just released prior to NADA, our 2026 CRM research report, a 40-page report. You can download that for free. You can also reach out to me. We're hosting some VIP wine events during NADA. If you're a wine lover, interested in talking how we can work together, let's do that. And then if you are a marketing pro, at a larger dealer group looking to simplify your time, I'd love to hear from you, just to say, what are those mind-numbing, menial tasks that you'd love to get rid of? It will help guide our platform design.
That's awesome. Hey guys, for everybody out there watching and listening, we appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to check out this show. Even if you guys are watching it before NAD or even after, there's still a lot of value here. Hey, look, one of the biggest compliments you can give us as content creators is to share the show. It means a lot to us when you share the show. Look, I'm not going to ask you to smash the subscribe button and uppercut the like button, because guess what? I know you're not going to do it. All right. But if you got a friend or a colleague or a manager that needs to hear some portion of today's conversation, it means so much to us when you share the show. Hey, Brian, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me. I will see you and everyone out there shortly in ADA. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.